This video is a part of the A to Z series of Python language where I go through all the built-in functions of Python starting with letter C with a description of how to use them. The imported library functions and classes are written using these built-in functions only. So you can consider this as a foundation of the entire Python language. If you have landed directly on this video, you can check out the entire playlist in the iCard above or through the link in the description. Otherwise, watch this video till the end as I will also give real project examples where these functions might be useful wherever I can. My name is Aditya Shenoy from Brainy where I make programming simple and fun. YouTube statistics show that a small percentage of you who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel, so if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind in future. The first function is the callable function. This function returns whether the object is callable or not. There is a slight catch to this function. If this function returns false, then the object is not callable. But if it returns true, the object can sometimes be callable or sometimes it may not. Suppose we pass a function. Here I will pass the print function, which is a built-in function, and it will return true because I am allowed to call this function using a pair of parentheses like this. If I pass a variable to this function, let's see what happens. I equal to 0, callable I. Now it will return false. This is because I am not allowed to call the variable I like this, because it will raise an error over here. So this will return me false. Now what about other objects? So for that, I will define a class, a custom class, my class. I will write a pass keyword over here to indicate that my class is completely empty, and I will callable my class. Now it will return true because to create an object of my class, I need to call this class with the help of parentheses like this. So technically my class is callable, but the scene will change when I pass an object of this class to this function. Now it will return false because there is nothing inside this function that tells what to do if an object is called with the help of a parenthesis. So to change this and make this true, we need to write the call function. Def double underscore call double underscore, and as it is a class, as it is an object function, it will take a parameter of self, and inside this you can write your logic with like what will happen if this function is called. So I will just print hello, and now if I run this cell, it will return me true because now it knows what to do if this object is called. Let's see, by calling this is an object and I am calling this object with another pair of parentheses. Now it will call the function and it will print hello like this. So where is this call involved over here? Whenever we say that a function or an object is callable, that means that it contains an attribute double underscore call like this, and we can pass parameters like this hello, and it will print hello just like if we are calling the print function without the call keyword. So these are just two ways of writing the code, and this is the shorthand version of the same code. The next function is the chr, that is char function. This returns the character that is a string object with a single character corresponding to the Unicode value passed in the integer. The valid range for the argument is from 0 through 1,114,111. You don't need to remember this value. You can always refer to these values in the Python documentation's website. So I will pass char 65, char 97 like this, and it will return me the string that corresponds to this Unicode value. The ASCII value of A is 65 and the ASCII value of small a is 97. This function is useful when you have the Unicode value and you want to convert it to a string. This function is the inverse of the ORD function, ORD, which we will cover in a future video. The next function is the class method. This is a decorator which converts any method inside a class to a class method. This is different from the static method that you may be familiar with from other languages like Java. To demonstrate this, I will again create a custom class, my class, and I will create a class variable like this. Notice that I have not included this inside a constructor and I have not preceded this with a self dot prefix. This variable belongs to this class and not to any specific object. And to access such class variables like this, we need to have a class method. Class methods are defined using a @ character and then preceding it with the class method keyword. And after this, you can define the function normally, def get string, and instead of passing a self keyword, I will pass a CLS, that stands for the class object, and I will return class.string. That means whenever this function will be called, it will return the string that is present inside the scope of this class. And to call this class method function, we don't need to create an object of this class. Instead, we can just use myClass.getString and it will return me the Python string that I initialized here. You can also call this function by using an object of this class. The output will remain same because Python will ignore the object. It will check what class it belongs to and it will call the class method normally. This function enables using class variables and accessing or modifying them via methods. This function is useful when you have a use case where a class shares a single variable with all its instances. Also, if you are familiar with design patterns, this method is ideal to implement factory methods, where you return the instances of the same class in a more controlled way. If you are enjoying this video, please click that like button. It will help me in creating more videos like this. The next function is the compile function. It runs a code string inside the main program. This function takes 3 parameters. The first parameter is the string containing the code. For this example, I will initialize a equal to 5, a new line character, b equal to 6, new line character, and print a plus b. So I have passed a code containing 3 lines, a equal to 5, b equal to 6, and print a plus b. So this is just a Python code that I have compressed inside a string. Now the second parameter is the file name. As you can see over here, this file name is used when you are extracting this code from a file, and this file name will help this function to keep the formatting of the code. In this case, I am not extracting this code from any file, so I will pass an empty string. And this third parameter is the mode. This mode parameter can take 3 values. If we pass single like this, it will run the code as if we were running the code in Python interactive shell. That is, it will run only one line at a time. If we pass eval to this function, It will run the code as if it were an expression to evaluate. And if we pass exec, which I will do for this example, it will execute the entire lines of code. Now if I run this code, it will return a code object. So I will store this code object inside a variable, and to actually run this code, you need to call exec function and pass the code object inside it. And as you can see, 11 is printed, which is the addition of 5 and 6, which we told Python to add and print like this. Why will we bother to run a code inside another code, you might ask? This function can be used if we are planning to make a project of making a competitive programming application or an online compiler for Python, where the string input of the user will contain code strings like this. So you can pass appropriate modes like exec, single, or evaluate to execute the user input code. The next function is the complex function. This function takes 0, 1, or 2 integer parameters. It returns a complex number containing real and imaginary axes. If we pass no parameters to this function, it will return 0 plus 0j. That is, both the axes will have a value of 0. If we pass only one integer inside the parameter, say 2, it will assume that the passed parameter inside this function corresponds to the real axis, and the imaginary axis will be initialized as 0. And if we pass two parameters, say 1 and 2, it will associate the first parameter as the real coordinate and second parameter as the imaginary coordinate. You can also initialize these complex numbers using string literals that you can see over here: 0j, 2 plus 0j, 1 plus 2j. It will return the same output. Complex numbers are not used much. It may have specific use cases in some applications, but you can easily work with 2 or even higher dimensions with tuples or lists. So these were all the built-in functions that starts with letters C. If you ended up liking this video, please press that like button, comment any feedbacks that you have for this video or this channel, share this video with your friends. The code that I write in all my videos of this channel is available in my GitHub profile, whose link is in the description. You can connect to me via LinkedIn, whose link is again in the description. And I will see you in the next video.